Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will be learning subject Organizational Behavior, Unit 3, which is Group Behavior. Let us start. First topic is Group. A group is a collection of two or more individuals who interact with each other and work together to achieve a common objective. So in simple terms, when there are two or more people working together, we call it as a group. Okay. So there are different types of groups, formal groups and informal groups. Formal groups means created by the organization to perform specific tasks. Example, project team, department. So for example, in colleges we will be having minor project groups and major project groups, right? So we form that so that our project can be completed. For some specific tasks we are forming that group, so that is called as formal group. Next is informal group, formed naturally based on friendships or common interest. Example, friends in office. So in colleges as well we have groups, right? So these are made on the vibes. We usually make friends depending on our vibes. Next, importance of groups: helps in better coordination, improves communication, increases productivity. So when we are working in a group, we can understand each other properly and work better, and also communicate properly, which will also lead to increase in the productivity. Now, conclusion of forming groups are essential for completing organizational tasks efficiently. So if you work individually, it will be little difficult. So when you are working in group, the work are done efficiently. Next is group development. Tuckman model. So definition of group development is a process through which a group grows and becomes effective over time. So growing a group is group development. So there are different stages in this. How group develops, how group is formed. First one is forming. Members meet and understand the purpose of the group. So what happens here? It is the introduction stage where everyone meets each other and get to know each other. Next is storming. Conflicts rises due to different opinions. Power struggles may occur. So what happens in storming? These group members talk to each other and they'll get to know each other's opinions about the particular task. And what happens when I am talking and also some other person is talking, they'll be having different opinion, I am having different opinion, and there will be conflicts, right? So this is called storming stage. Next is norming. What happens in norming? Members start cooperating and resolving conflicts. Group unity develops. So if I am having different opinion and other members are having different opinions, we'll start arguing, right? But after that, we'll come to a stage where we'll try to solve it, or we'll be having rules. Okay, we'll be doing this thing in this way. Okay, forming rules. This is called norming. Next, performing. Group works efficiently towards goals. Now we have proper rules and idea, everything. Now we'll be working for that project or for that task. It will also lead to high productivity. Next is adjourning. Group disbands after achieving the objective. So after all the task is completed, after the project is completed, what we do? You go your way, I'm going my way. So what happens in simple terms? The group is divided. Everyone just leaves the group. So what is the conclusion here? Understanding these stages helps managers handle teams effectively. So these are for the managers so that they can handle the teams effectively. Next is group norm. So we have learned about norming, right? So this is group norm. Definition: group norms are the rules or guidelines that control the behavior of group members. So these are the rules that can control the behavior of the team members. So there are different types. First one is performance norms, work standards. So these are rules or based on how the work should be done. The standard of the work is set here. Next, behavior norms means these are the rules of a person how to behave in that group, like how to behave when you are working on this assigned work. Next, appearance norms, that is the dress code, how you have to dress when you are working there. Importance: maintains discipline, ensures smooth functioning, reduces conflict. So when we have similar rules, same rules for everyone, this will reduce conflicts, right? And also this will maintain discipline, which will also help in smooth functioning, like everything will be working smoothly. Conclusion of this is norms help in maintaining order and coordination in the group. So simple words, these rules help us to have proper order and coordination in the group. Okay. Next, group cohesiveness. Group cohesiveness refers to the degree of attraction or unity among group members. So this means that if you are in a group, there will be some person you'll find, your vibes will be matching more and you'll become friends with them. So there are different factors of how you can attract with each other. So first is similar interest. When you have similar interest with someone, or like if you are someone who likes to watch anime and you find someone who watches anime, then there will be some kind of cohesiveness, right? Next is group success. When your group is successful, like when you are doing some task and that is so successful, then also you'll be in the same group. Next is group leadership. When the leader is good and the things are going smoothly. Next, effective communication. When you communicate properly, obviously you will be in that group, right? When people communicate with you properly, when you are able to give your opinions freely, then obviously you will be part of that group. Next, advantages of cohesiveness. Better teamwork, high morale, increased productivity. So when when there are people with same interests like you can communicate with them properly, you can talk to them freely. This will lead to better teamwork, like you can work properly, and also this will lead to increasing your productivity. Next, disadvantages can lead to group pressure, may reduce creativity. So why it is saying that it might reduce creativity? So if you and your friend or like one of the group members having similar interests, then whatever you think, they are also thinking the same thing, right? There will be nothing new. So this will reduce the creativity. Next is conclusion. Balanced cohesiveness improves team performance. When all these things are balanced, this will lead to improving the performance of your team, which will also improve your efficiency in the task as well. Next, group decision making. So it is a process where group members collectively take decisions. Okay. Advantages: more ideas and creativity, better quality decisions, shared responsibilities. So when you are in a group and you are trying to make any decisions, there will be more ideas and creativity because everyone are different. So there will be many ideas and also different types of ideas. Okay. And shared responsibility, because here only one person is not having this headache of making decisions. Okay. Disadvantages: time consuming, conflicts may rise, risk of group think. So when you're obviously in a group and trying to make any decisions, it will be time consuming because everyone will have different opinions and getting to one conclusion becomes difficult, right? This also happens when you are working for major project and minor project, if you can relate with it. Conflict may rise. Obviously this happens because you will be thinking about something and I'll be thinking about something, then this will lead to conflicts. Next, conclusion. Group decision making is useful but has to be managed properly. So this has to be managed properly or else things will get messed up. Okay. Next is team. A team is a group of individuals working together with shared responsibility to achieve a goal. So teams is also similar to groups. Here also group of people work together, but here they have a similar goal. So difference between group and team is, in group, I'll tell you first similarity. Both in group and team there are different people working together. Okay. But in group everyone will be having different goals, but in team everyone having one single goal. Like when we are working for major project, our team members are having only one goal, that is to finish this project, finish the documentation, PPT and whatever work is there. Okay, we'll be working on one goal, right? So this is difference between group and teams. So there are different types of teams as well. So we are talking about these teams in the company, not in the college. Okay. First one is problem solving team. So these teams always try to solve the problems whatever are occurring in an organization. Self-managed teams, they work independently. Cross-functional teams, members from different departments. So from all the departments, few people come together and they form a team. That is cross-functional team. For example, like in colleges, from different sections, students gather and they form their own group, right? That is cross-functional. characteristics of effective teams. So when these teams are effective, in the sense, how can you say a team is effective? When there are clear goals, when you know what to work on, when there is proper communication, when you can communicate properly, freely, without thinking that you will be judged. Next, trust among members. So conclusion here is teams improve efficiency, innovation in organization. Okay, working in teams will improve your efficiency, because if you don't know anything or if you have problem, you can ask your team members, and that will lead to increase in your productivity. Next is leadership. Leadership is the ability to influence, guide and motivate people to achieve their goals. So in simple terms, leader is someone who can guide or tell people what to do. That is leadership. So there are different types of leaderships. Autocratic means this leader makes decision alone. So in a group, if there is one autocratic leader, only that person has the power to make the decisions. Others do not have any say there. Democratic means he involves the group members as well to make any decisions in the group. Next is laissez-faire. They give freedom to the employees as well. Okay. Next, importance. Provides direction, motivates employees, improve performance. So if the leader is good, this leader will tell you what to do, how to do, and there will be proper direction. And they will also motivate employees to do work in this particular way and guide them. So conclusion is effective leadership is key to organizational success. So if a organization to be successful, there should be proper leader. Next is power and politics. First, power. Power means ability to influence others' behavior. So in simple terms, power means making others to do what you want. Okay, so there are different types of powers. First is legitimate power. It comes from the position. So if you are having high position in an organization, you will be having that power. So example, manager giving the orders, because he is manager, he has a position in the organization, he is giving the orders. Next is reward power, giving rewards. So you get rewards or promotion or bonus, that is reward power. Next, coercive power. So that means giving punishment. Like if you are not working properly, then your salary will be cut, or giving some kind of warning. That is coercive power, which is punishment. Next is expert power. This comes based on the knowledge. If a person is having immense knowledge, then they are having that expert power. Next, referent power, personal qualities. So it is depend on a personality. For example, people follow a leader they admire. Next is politics. Organizational politics refers to use of power to achieve personal interest. So using this power to get your own work done is politics. Are you able to understand? Using the power to get your own work done is politics. So there are different effects of this politics. First is positive, next is negative. So positive impact is that you can achieve your goals when you are using politics in an organization. Negative impact is that this can create conflicts among the team members, right? If you favor some person, then obviously this will create problems. Now conclusion here is power should be used carefully. Misuse leads to problems. Okay, the chapter is completed. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. See you in the next video.